Locally owned and operated for over 50 years, Delaware Camera is your #1 spot for all your camera needs, education, accessories, printing, and more. Located at 2635 Delaware Avenue in Buffalo. Visit cameraspot.com.
Welcome to the latest live True Believers Tech Talk. You know, we're on it's the 9th one, Will? The 9th one? Our 9th.
Technically 10, but 9.
Who's counting?
We don't talk about those things, Will. Never talk about the negative. Anyway, so we're here again, the 9th one. Producer Will's here. Curtis, who, if you come into the store, you may have met Curtis. He's the young guy at the counter, as people describe him. We have another young guy, but he is the young guy at the counter. The young guy is Curtis. So we'll do the normal stuff. We're gonna do concept photography today. We're gonna talk to Curtis about that. It's a subject close to my heart. I mean, I shoot a little differently than Curtis shoots, but he's doing nice things in concept photography these days. Normal housekeeping. We do, you know what we do here? Film developing, we do photo finishing, we digitize things, we sell cameras. What else do we do here, Curtis?
Yeah, so like film photography, so like developing, printing, large scale printing, if you're doing any like digital printing,
Yeah.
anything up to 44 inches on the big Epson printer downstairs. Yeah, all kinds.
Yeah, we sell used cameras, we rent a studio upstairs, we do camera rentals, which we may or may not talk about on this episode. So we do all that stuff, but the normal housekeeping we take care of. Welcome to anyone watching from Jack's Cameras in Exton or Huntington Valley down in Pennsylvania. I posted there a little while ago to see if people wanted to join in and watch what we're doing here, because we all are one company. So Delaware Camera up here, Jack's Cameras down in Pennsylvania. So normal housekeeping classes. So we normally do 3 classes. We have the basic, the composition, light and exposure classes, but this month we were unable to present those classes because of the sheer busyness of the store. So this is kind of the busy season, usually like May, June. It's Mother's Day first because mom wants a camera, mom wants pictures, mom wants all that stuff. And then dads and grads, so you know, people graduating college and Father's Day, because dads need cameras too, because they take pictures as well. I am a dad who takes pictures. I'm living proof of this thing. So anyway, so next month we'll have classes again, starting May 31st, the basic class. They're 3 Tuesdays in a row. If you buy all 3 classes, you get $35 in store credit, which you can use in the store to get anything in the store, because it's a good deal. So you're basically spending $70 on 3 classes, which is an extraordinary deal in the photo education space.
It's a bargain.
Very, very much a bargain. And I was actually on the line with Tamron, and the Tamron class we have set up. The Capture Hacks Tips and Tricks class is coming up later this month. If you go to our website, you'll see when it is. I think it's the, I'm not sure when it is. It's a Tuesday coming up though. But it's on, go to our website, sign up there, you'll click the link and you'll be able to sign up. I have a couple more classes that I'm trying to work out with Tamron and Canon. Trying to set up a macro class and a sports photography class with Canon. And we're gonna be doing a zoo photography class with Tamron, which we hope will lead to a zoo photo walk with Jeff Barnes. If you know Jeff Barnes, who used to be employed by us, and he's an extraordinary photographer who has a store in the Eastern Hills Mall, which I did a live from a few weeks ago. If you're on Instagram, we did a live there. What's the question, Will?
From Blue Ox Photography. First off, they said they love using our studio.
Awesome.
And the question is, do you have any advice if you're doing night photography?
Night photography. Will, you shot the moon recently. The most important with night photography, if you're shooting people, you're gonna have to use, well, it depends how high you want your ISO to go. There's a few different ways to do this. you can take your ISO all the way up and have there be a grainy picture and shoot that way, or you can use external light or flash or something. You have any tips on that, Curtis?
Yeah, and so like I would typically use like a lower ISO for that, and definitely like a tripod, just so then you're not getting the grain for it.
Yeah.
Then definitely like, close down your aperture as much as you can too, so you're able to get everything in focus there.
Yeah. So just be aware when you're doing that. That's with things we're saying, because people can't stand still for 30 seconds for a picture. Am I not on? Or am I good? Okay, thanks. Anyway, so yeah, night photography you can do it a few different ways. So, like Curtis said, get everything low, and get your tripod and get everything in focus with the long exposure and the high F number. With people, you're gonna want to do it a little bit differently, because people won't stand still for the long exposure that a place takes. So, you're gonna have to use an external light or use a high ISO with a decent shutter speed. So, but there's a few different ways you can do it, and hopefully that answered your question a little bit. But it's kind of hard to say though.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of ways you can do it.
Yeah, definitely a few different ways you can do that. So where was I before we got that question? You okay, Will? Is it good? Okay. So I was talking about the other classes we're doing. So hopefully that zoo class will lead to a photo walk that we're gonna do. Yeah, because we've had photo walks at the zoo before with Jeff. We've had at least 3 of them. So we get like a group of 10 people together. Jeff will show you the ins and outs of shooting animals at the zoo, which he takes extraordinary pictures of. If you ever gone to his website, great pictures. If you go to his store in Eastern Hills Mall, great pictures of like the lions, the polar bears, everything in there. So it's really, really good stuff. There's actually a really cool picture of an alligator that he took that's in the store here, which is amazing, that I enjoy.
Indeed. The one on the stairwell, right?
Yeah. It's a very cool picture. It's inside is that the rainforest area?
I think so,
in
yeah.
the zoo? Yeah, so we got that. So we do rentals, rent Canon, Nikon, Fuji. We're up to 4 Sony bodies now. So we just put the A7 IV in rental.
This guy right here.
A7C, A7R4, and the ever popular A7 III is in rental. So that's awesome. And I think we just got a 70 to 200 original version to put in rental today. So
nice, that'll be awesome.
That should be hitting the rental shelf very soon. Question, Will? Question? You look like you. Okay.
Shout out to Bomber Queen 77.
Yeah. In the next room. So anyway, Curtis here has been shooting a lot of concerts recently. And if you go on, what's your Instagram handle?
It's just Curtis Kreutter, Curtis_Kreutter.
So if you go and look for Curtis, he's attached to Delaware Camera. I think I tagged him in the story for this. So, but if you go there, you can see his extraordinary concert photography that he's been kind of like doing recently, like just dominating, I think, awesome stuff. So Curtis, tell us how you first got interested in doing concert photography.
So yeah, I started right at the beginning, well, right before the pandemic actually. It was probably like January or February. And yeah, then that of course cut that off. And so it was out of business for a little bit, but was just getting started with it. Really wasn't like picking up any gigs with it, was just doing it for fun. And then once like 2021 hit, like January, February, then stuff started to pick back up again, or like probably more towards the spring. And so that's like when I started to do a whole bunch of stuff out in Rochester. Definitely started to do stuff more in Buffalo. Just was reaching out to different bands, different venues, saying like, hey, just starting out, would love to just get a photo pass, and I'll give you guys the photos, and go.
That's a good way to start, because a lot of people don't understand, like, people take for granted that people are going to shoot bands and stuff, but especially when bands are newer or don't have a super big following, they usually don't have people that are shooting photos of them, and like it's cool when people who are into the bands can get in there and what?
Bomber Queen 17 says, how attached to Delaware Camera is he really?
What? Bridget. Anyway, so I know like when I, a lot of times like I've been shooting like bands forever, and a lot of times like I'm in a different like kind of class of like shooting bands. Like I go where I go, you don't need photo passes and stuff, it's people just shooting. But like when I started shooting, there were like no one was shooting photos of bands at shows, but like now more people are shooting and stuff. But yeah, it's a thing to do, like just asking, and because I mean, people, what's the worst people can do is say no.
Exactly.
When you're trying to shoot. So like, what was the first concert that you shot after, like, I guess in the post-pandemic world, the post-shutdown world?
Post-pandemic world.
Yeah.
Well, one of the first ones was a show out in Rochester. I went to go see a solo gig of Mike Ganser from Aqueous, one of my favorite bands.
They're from here, right? Aqueous?
Yes, yeah. And so, yeah, right here in Buffalo, north of Tonawanda. And so I went to go shoot that show just for fun. I just showed up with a camera and I reached out to him like immediately after the show. Or I like walked up to him saying like, hey, like I'm a photographer, would love to get you these images, like give me your email, I can send these to you. And just a couple months ago, was shooting Aqueous at Town Ballroom, and then went to Chicago a couple weeks ago, shot them. And so that's turned into a really, really cool experience. I've been able to pick up a lot from that.
Yeah.
And so that was like the first one that I shot, was that solo gig, just about a year ago now. So,
let's see where we're gonna go here. So, what do you try to take pictures of when you're shooting a concert? Like, what are the things you gotta check off your list that you make sure you get at the concert?
Yeah, so I try and make sure that I'm getting like every band member, and then also looking at the lighting design. Want to make sure I'm getting like some good wide shots of that as well, and then some like up close shots of the stage of like the whole band too. A whole bunch of different angles that I'm trying to get at. But yeah, just like individual like member shots, whole band shots, shots of the crowd, because that's only half of the experience. Getting the band and then getting the crowd too. There's a lot of really good energy in that too that I want to try and capture. So.
Do you shoot a crowd if there's no one there though?
Let's
say the crowd's kind of sparse.
Yeah,
do you shoot the crowd?
Well, I feel like there's people like right on the rail and they're having a good time, and I still want to capture that.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I usually won't get like the huge shot of the room if there's really not a big crowd or anything like that.
Yeah, typically what do you put in a bag for when you go to shoot a band? Like, what lenses do you carry with you?
So I typically try and have something like a 24 millimeter, something that's a little bit wider, or something like maybe like a 35, something that's not like super wide, doesn't have a lot of distortion, and then definitely something like a 50 where I can get some good like up close shots, something that I can get like good portraits with too. And
so Town Ballroom we shot there, like what kind of I know Town Ballroom has pretty good lighting.
Oh yeah.
So are you shooting like, how low is your f-stop when you're shooting like at the Town Ballroom? Like, are you trying, like, what range are you shooting in?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different things that I'm doing. A lot of the times I'll be shooting like f2 or something like f4 or something, so it's not like super wide. So like say like I'm getting like a shot of the drummer or something. Like I don't want that to be super out of focus. But if I'm trying to get like something really dramatic, and if the light is really low, I'll shoot it as low as I can go. So like 2.8 or 1.4 for some lenses. Depends on what lens that is.
So are you trying to keep things like shutter speeds? Are you trying to keep shutter speeds? Like, what's the lowest you're going to go on a shutter speed?
The shutter speed I want to try for like clear shots. I want to try and have something like at least like a 160th of a second, or like a 200th of a second. Or if I can kind of like stabilize myself somewhere, maybe get like a 100th of a second.
Okay.
And so, And I mean, I'll even do like a lot of long exposures too. So I'll like close down my aperture, and then I will get like a really like slow shutter speed, say like 3-4 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'll kind of do some crazy stuff with that. I'll do some like in-camera double exposures, or like I'll do like just like a long exposure and kind of mess around with that post-processing, see what kind of cool effects I can get with that too. So,
are you ever using any like strobes or flashes when you shoot?
typically not. Just because a lot of the shows that I'm shooting are like pretty like bigger shows, probably like around like 1,000 people or so are in the room. And typically like you gotta have you gotta know whether the band or not wants flash or not, and so I typically don't use flash, just because that can kind of like throw them off in their performance.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to interfere, step on any toes in that respect. So.
Yeah. Typically when I shoot like hardcore shows and stuff, like I'm using a flash all day because I'm shooting.
Oh yeah.
I'm shooting in weird venues. Like we just had a show in a old like firehouse. There was light in there, but there wasn't a whole lot of light.
Right.
And so I'm typically have to use the flash for things like that. But with newer cameras though, even in dim light, you can shoot at a high ISO and still get decent stuff.
Oh yeah.
But I've always like kind of liked to use flash, and like I do slow shutter stuff and stuff with that, try to get a little bit more creative with what I'm doing. So I try to do things like that. So what cameras are you using when you're shooting?
And so
what have you been using recently?
So yeah, recently I've been messing around with the A7 IV, which we're now renting. If you want to check that out, go on our website. So I've been messing around with that.
Yeah.
That's been a really great camera. It's 33 megapixels, so the files are pretty big. The only downside to that is that my computer is a little bit older, so some files I can't process or I can't preview. And so I do have some friends that were nice enough to let me borrow some of their systems as well to edit some stuff of some recent shows that I shot. But overall, a really great camera. And then the A7 III has been really great. And so those two cameras are the ones that I've been kind of exploring the most lately.
When you say you've been exploring them, you don't own these cameras, right? Yeah. I know some people, there's some extraordinary people who nail expose all the time.
Oh yeah.
I'm not one of those people.
But same. I'm starting to get there.
Yeah. I mean,
for the most part, we're there. But
yeah, I kind of hate editing. I should do some raw myself, but editing is like I'll shoot something like I won't like look at it until something compels me to look at it. Right. And go back and look at it because there's so many pictures these days.
Oh yeah.
I used to go to like a 5-band show and I take a 36-foot roll of film and like that's what I shot was done, but now I'm shooting like hundreds of pictures from each band.
Yeah,
So
same here.
It's kind of crazy.
That's half the process. Is just going through edits and then picking out which ones you want, and making sure the exposure is good on all of them, colors are right. It's half the process.
So are you? I know like some people. I typically shoot like center focusing points, like and then recompose. Do you do that, or do you use like let the camera kind of pick where it's focusing?
Like I kind of like a couple of different ways that you can go about that on both of these cameras or on any of these cameras. So typically I will use like a center point focusing, but sometimes I'll just like let the camera like pick where it wants to go, or like I'll manually pick like on the screen too, because it's a touch screen, which is kind of nice. So then you can just pick like, oh, like I'm framing it like this, but like I also want to focus on this specific part. And so I can, you know, up in the corner here, I can, you know, touch focus that there.
Yeah.
And go from there.
So are you looking through the viewfinder, or are you using the back screen, or both?
I'm a little bit of both, especially if it's like a really tight shot and I'm like right up against the rail and like I'm trying to get like a wider shot. I'll use like the viewfinder so then that gets me as far back as I can. And then a lot of the times like I'll get like a hand strap or something like that, or like if I don't have something available like that, I'll wrap this around and I'll get like a wide shot or something like that, or like a shot from up above, which is nice with these tilt screens because then you can see the screen flat like that and take a photo.
Yeah, it's one of the most important things about that, like being able to see the back screen, and like because sometimes you can't get to where you need to be, like if you got to be here to make a shot, you know, you can kind of hold it there if that's a shot you want. You know, and you know, I mean, as you know, like weird angles are like kind of make pictures sometimes. Like you don't always want to like shoot like that. You kind of want to go low, high, wherever you want to go, and that can make a picture sometimes. So are you using? So let's talk about like the motor drive. They don't call them that anymore, but are you shooting singles or are you shooting multiples?
I'm shooting a lot of multiples, and I guess there's a downside and an upside to that, where you're getting a lot of, if say like you're trying to capture a lot of action, like I'll shoot like in like a higher drive, but then at the same time, then you have more photos to edit through.
Definitely.
So, which you know, if you're pressed for time, if you're trying to get the band some photos like the night of or like the day after, it can be quite the process. And so a lot of the times, like I'll kind of switch between those different drive modes, which is nice on these cameras too, because you can set some of the function buttons to switching the drive modes pretty fast. So if you're not trying to capture like a ton of action, if you're trying to like really like frame one shot, then you can set it to like a lower drive mode. So then you're not taking a ton of photos. It's taking up a whole bunch of more space on your hard drive and on your SD card. So,
do you ever like last show I was at, like last Monday, I used the Wi-Fi on my camera and I like sent pictures to my phone. I had it on my Instagram within 10 minutes.
Right.
So I thought that was kind of cool. Do you ever do that?
I haven't done that, no, because I really like going through the photos before I send them out, and then I can edit them. I might try that one of these days though, because there's a whole bunch of apps out there that are really great. Just like on your phone, you can edit stuff from there.
When I kind of did that, I just kind of put the raw thing there, but I haven't even looked at those files now. So it's like so I need to like look at the other files. Like I picked 5 pictures, like I'm posting these, and that's all I did.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I did. So that one. You gonna bring up pictures?
Oh yes. What photos are we doing now? It's not popping up yet. Here we go. Yeah, so this photo here that you're seeing.
If you're on Instagram, if you go to YouTube, you can see what we're seeing. Instagram, you're just seeing our beautiful faces, so I'm sorry about that. But go on. But
yeah, if you're on the YouTube page right now, the photo that we're looking at was from a show of the band Mo. This was back last October. I took this on a 3-night run. This is like a wider shot of the venue, kind of featuring some of the lighting design in there, messing around with a whole bunch of the colors and whatnot too. And so this is a fun shot. This is definitely something like close down my aperture a little bit more, just so that I'm getting everything in focus: the band, the crowd, the lights, all that kind of stuff. So,
is there any kind of low, like what kind of shutter speed is that? Like, is it longer, or is it just, or you can get that with a quick shutter speed?
That was probably right around like 100th or like a 60th of a second. So you're still able to get like everything clearly like in focus, and it's like pretty sharp for the most part. And then this photo here, I took just a couple of days ago actually. This is from the band Mungyan, one of my favorite bands as well. And this is so like from the side of the stage. This is probably a little bit faster shutter speed. You're kind of getting a little bit of lag with the drumsticks there, and so which is kind of a cool effect, because if you set your shutter speed, say like 30th of a second, you're kind of getting that weird, like you're getting like 10 drumsticks in one.
Yeah.
So that's always fun to mess around with that too. And
Yeah.
so,
Very cool. I miss drummers a lot because I don't get back there when I go to shows. I'm like, the drummers are kind of back there. I'm like,
it's hard.
Sorry, guys.
It's definitely hard. I was thinking the same thing a few days ago too.
Yeah.
It's hard, especially when you're if it's like a larger stage.
Yeah.
That's when you need like a longer lens for that too.
Definitely.
To kind of get them in a good frame.
Yeah.
This photo here too. This is Antoine Stanley. Playing with Corey Wong back in January.
Mhm.
This is a great show. Kind of
Where was that?
This was at Anthology.
Okay.
In Rochester.
Yeah.
It's a great venue. And kind of getting some radiant light from behind him, and so it's a very dramatic shot. This definitely was shooting in RAW because the RAW file, he was kind of silhouetted a little bit, and so. But you're also getting some of the lights from above there too. You're kind of able to get more light on him as well.
Yeah.
And this is Town Ballroom again. It was a couple weeks ago at a Twiddle show that I shot. Another one of my favorites. And this is just like another wide shot of the venue, just trying to get more crowd shots.
Yeah.
And just capture the epicness of live music. And so, and kind of got some crazy stuff going on with the lighting. And no two shows are the same, especially for a lot of like shows in the jam band scene, especially like with the lighting design too, because you get different lighting designers in the venues, and so there's a lot of cool stuff happening there as well. This is another shot I took in Chicago just last week with Aqueous. And this is another great example. If you're able to get like a photo pass, you're able to get more shots of the drummer. And so this is a shot that I had a lot of fun, having a little bit of dialogue with the drummer there. And so that was a lot of fun.
Is he posing for you?
And so he's kind of
like, what's up, buddy?
What's up?
Very cool.
Yeah. And so yeah, it's been over the past year, it's been quite a journey just learning about the ins and outs of concert photography. And something like this, where I was just in Chicago, that was like the first time I was on the road with a band. So that was a great learning experience.
Did you do any like behind the scenes stuff with them?
Yeah, so I don't know if we have them in the live stream at all, but I did do some like stuff up in the green room and everything, where I had a flash and everything as well. Did some like behind the scenes stuff, and those are all on my Instagram as well if you want to check some of those out, on my Facebook too. And then this is another shot of Aqueous with Evan McFadden, and that was a kind of a cool shot where the light is kind of bouncing up on his face and everything is like kind of like dark around him. It's kind of vignetting Evan there, and so I thought that was kind of a cool contrasty, dramatic shot.
Definitely. Very nice. So let's see. Let me look at my notes here because I like to look at my notes. So here's a thing. So when I shoot like weddings and stuff, like sometimes I'll go scout out place where I'm going to see like what kind of going on. Do you do that? Like when you go to venues, like kind of get the lay of the land?
Absolutely, yeah. So I try and see where, what spots can I go to for a good shot, or like I'll try and get there a little bit early if I can't get there ahead of time, or like like the few days before. I'll try and see like, oh, like this spot up by the bar over here, that would be a really great shot for like a wider shot. Or something like the middle, like off to like the side of the stage, or something like that. Like the guitarist is going to be here, so I'm going to set myself up here for like a minute or two, and do like that kind of thing, and just kind of get like a few little locations that I'll try and check off.
So what are you shooting coming up? Anything coming up?
So yeah, this week I'll be at Ironworks shooting La Special and Talk, another couple of my favorite bands, and so that'll be a good show. They're doing a 2-night run this Friday and Saturday.
Nice, very cool.
That'll
very
be a lot
cool.
of fun.
Well, Curtis, thank you for coming on and sharing your knowledge with us.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it, and if people are on Instagram, go to Kreutter, Curtis_Kreutter, and check out his photography because it's pretty extraordinary, I think. But I mean, who am I to judge? But anyway, one thing I wanted to say, if you're watching this, we're running a little special for Mother's Day. So buy an 8x10 frame, you get a free 8x10 picture. So if you're gonna buy a picture for your mom for Mother's Day, just buy the picture and order the picture, buy the frame, and you put the picture in the frame through Sunday. So mention that you saw it here and we will take care of you. So you're buying a frame, you get a free 8x10. So pick out a picture, you're all set for Mother's Day and all that good stuff. But if you enjoyed this, please subscribe to
Locally owned and operated for over 50 years, Delaware Camera is your #1 spot for all your camera needs, education, accessories, printing, and more. Located at 2635 Delaware Avenue in Buffalo. Visit cameraspot.com.